Hello everyone and welcome to my brutally honest review of Swordsman by Sinn Studios, which I reviewed on the PlayStation VR on the original PS4 console, and I was given a code to review this. I love melee combat in video games, especially ones in virtual reality, and I have found that the current offerings are all lacking in aspects. Gorn, Golem, even Shadow Legend are all great games, but all three of these titles have major aspects in the melee combat that I do not like. Swordsman isn't the perfect sword combat title, but it's the closest we've come to the type of experience I desire, and for that reason, I'll start this off by saying I had a ton of fun playing this, but let's get into the details. Swordsman is a sword combat game. There are no bows, no axes, there are shields though, and you can also dual wield if you so choose. It should be noted that there's also special attacks with some of the boss weapons, but those are only unlocked on those weapons and is not a common thing, so I wouldn't get used to having those until you get to the end of the game. You can also slash, stab, you can block attacks, and occasionally trigger a bullet time mode when blocking. There's a long list of swords and shields with different weights and sizes. I personally enjoyed the katana due to its light weight and its high stabbing stat, but as soon as I unlocked the boss weapons, I was mostly just using those because of how overpowered they were. There's also a lot of armor sets that can be unlocked that have different stats, and at first I assumed the best armor was the most expensive one, but actually, different ones have different benefits, and if you want to move quickly, the samurai armor is better suited for that, given its boosts in speed. The game has a lot of options, and remapping the control is apparently one of the most requested features, and is on the roadmap, so it will hopefully be added, but until then, I will say I was doing fine with the default. I would have liked the ability to remap a couple things, but for the most part, it was perfectly fine. Your controller options on the Move controllers only, there's no DualShock support, or no PS aim of course, but you can strafe using the X and O on the left hand or whatever your secondary hand is, and the move button to move forward. Turning is done with the X and circle on the right hand or the alternate hand, and you can also press the, I believe it's square button on the right controller to do a kicking motion, but the kicking was mostly useless to me, so I never really used it. You're moving backwards with the triangle on the left controller, so that's your, move to move forward, triangle to move backwards, and you can choose whether or not you want it based on the headset or based on your controller for which way you're moving. The trigger is the one that grabs the weapons or the shield, and then you can press the trigger again to drop them, and you can actually throw them in some cases, but I don't think it does any real damage. The game's balancing is very off though. You can repeat wave 1 of the arena over and over again to farm currency if the game is too hard, and you can unlock all the best gear and upgrade your stats that way without doing any of the actual levels. But if you want to make the game harder on yourself, there's lots of modifiers that will boost your rewards, and vice versa. There's modifiers to make the game a lot easier, including essentially having unlimited slow motion, which is quite effective if you want to just play around, but not the most exciting gameplay because it makes it way too easy. And the stabbing feature, you can quite quickly get very good at stabbing them directly in the head, which is an insta-kill even on the hardest enemies, not including bosses of course. There are 6 different arenas to battle in, or areas I should say. All are available in the arena mode, though the last one requires you to complete the final boss to unlock. They are all basic and small, but they work well given you only fight a maximum of 3 enemies at one time. I think the desert and snow stages were my favorite, as the samurai stage is a bit lacking in detail, and the final level is dark and small. It should also be noted that the first level and the samurai level have pillars that your weapons get stuck on if you back up into them. Each of the 4 main story levels have 9 stages and 1 boss, and then the final level is just the boss. Each of these stages feel like slightly harder versions of the ones you have completed before, so there's a lot of repetition in this title. The issues I found because this game was quite buggy in a lot of places was multiple trophies were glitched. I had graphical glitches that you could see where things were clipping into each other, like beards clipping out of helmets, swords getting stuck in enemies, sometimes like literally getting lost in the enemy where I lost the ability to hold my weapon because it was now gone. Hilarious ragdoll glitches where sometimes the weapons would go flying all over the place or the enemies would go all over the place. My respec got completely glitched out when I hit respec after I'd completed the game. All my stats went to 1, but it still wouldn't let me upgrade anything, given you have a maximum spending limit for how many you can invest points in. And I also had an issue where I beat the final level, and it would not let me play the arena version of that level until I beat the final level again. So I don't know what happened there, but it was working afterwards. Apparently a lot of these issues are caused by some mispatch thing, and apparently it's going to be fixed, hopefully by release by tomorrow, but at this time it has not been fixed yet. If it has been, I'll put it in the text below. But I can't just ignore these things even though they're supposed to be patched. I don't know what's going to be patched and what's not going to be patched, and I can almost guarantee you that you're probably going to find bugs of your own that I maybe didn't discover. So basically now, while this review is sounding kinda negative, I just want to be clear what you were buying. I spent over 4 hours with this game, and I had a ton of fun. I'm going to keep having fun, and I completely love this game. It's $20 in the US PS Store, from what I've heard, so it's not expensive. But the price tag may be more than some of you are willing to spend, given the janky aspects of the gameplay. It has a roadmap of new planned features, including decapitations as well. And it is a recommended from me, as I had a great time. But it might not be for everyone, given the problems addressed, so if you're not convinced and want to see more, I will be streaming the game, so you can check out my gameplay, or possibly catch me live. Feel free to ask any further questions you have down below, and I'll try to answer them as quickly as I see them. I'm also giving away 3 Steam codes for this game, and 2 PlayStation VR codes. They are North American codes, so you will need to make a North American account if you haven't already to redeem them. To enter the giveaway, follow me on Twitter at Lipnox88, share this video review on your Twitter page and tag me in it, as well as tag at Sinn Studio. Please also let me know if you want a Steam code or a PSVR code, and I will take all the entries and put the names into a random generator to pick winners. Then I will send the codes on Twitter via direct message on Saturday, September 26th. Good luck everyone, like, comment, and subscribe, and thank you for watching.